So did you play with blocks as a kid? The age-old toy is also a learning tool, but there's a whole new kind of 21st century block that can teach your toddler how to write computer code. It is called Osmo Coding, and it works in conjunction with iPads. Plastic bricks represent computer commands that children can manipulate to give instructions to characters on the screen. Here to explain all of this so you can teach your kid, even if you're clueless about this like me, is Robi, Ludwig, psychotherapist and author of Your Best Age Is Now, and Laura Overdeck, founder of Bedtime Math Foundation and an astrophysicist, by the way. Thank you so much for joining us, both of you. Laura, you are a master of this because you get kids excited about this exact kind of thing. You know, whether it's chess or it's Legos or it's these bricks at a young age. What do they all have in common that help kids learn about coding?
I think that what's important with toys is, first of all, that they're very open-ended and promote creativity, because kids are good at different things. Some kids are great with spatial and 3D and rotation of objects. Other kids are great with numbers. Other kids are just great with art and color. Right. And what's great about all these toys is they're tapping into all these things and giving kids a chance to see what they're good at that gives them a running start.
Yeah, I mean, Robi, that begs a great question. You know, I have two kids. One is naturally very drawn to coding and all these kind of things. The other guy's really an artist. I mean, what do you do with, if you have a child who isn't drawn to coding and math and science naturally, do you push them in that direction? Can you change that with toys like this?
I think the job of a parent is really to expose them to everything so you can really observe what your child is good at. And you always want to follow the fun. So the best way to learn, and I'm sure you've observed this, is through play and repetition. Basically, as a parent, you want to see, does the child have an inclination? If not, do you expose them anyway and see how far you can take it? You don't want to force a child. That's never the way to go. But exposure, I think, is sometimes enough.
Yeah. Laura, I mean, you know, for parents watching this at home, it can be so frustrating, the mixed messages you get. You know, on one hand, you need to limit their screen time because it's harmful to them. On the other hand, you know, you're afraid that they're falling behind if you aren't teaching them about coding, and you may not even know about it yourself. How do you balance those things?
Well, I think we have to remember that screens aren't bad or good. There's a whole array here of choices. It's better to watch a Nova special about insects than to watch SpongeBob. You're going to learn more.
Come on.
No, maybe that's my problem. I don't know.
And then beyond that, it's better to be doing something yourself actively while looking at a screen than just watching passively. And I think the best of all is when kids come together and are with other people, either their parents or other kids, playing with the toy and looking at the screen. That's the best.
In fact, one thing Laura does is bedtime math, which is this idea of, you know, rather than reading, you're sort of doing math problems and talking about math and science with your kids. How important is that interaction? And Robi, what about a parent who doesn't feel comfortable with math and science? And then you're responsible for kind of getting your kid into it, but you're like, I'm not good at it.
Well, I think just engaging with your child is key, and also teaching them how to problem solve is really important. So I don't think a parent necessarily needs to be good at math in order to be a good parent or to raise a child who's good at math. Sometimes kids just are drawn, and then you expose them to teachers and classes where they can further that interest. But the important thing is that you show an interest in your child and what they're interested in, and I think that's the key, encouraging your child in that way.
Laura, this is a huge problem right now because you look at the millions of jobs that are going begging in this country because people don't have the right training. These are the jobs of the future, yet a lot of our schools aren't training our kids to do this later, to become coders, to become scientists. As a parent, what can you do to get your kid ready for the job of tomorrow?
Well, definitely doing these things at home and exposing kids at home is important, because if you add it up, kids spend 4 times as many waking hours at home as in school. School feels like it's the whole day.
It does.
It's not. Kids are at home, and that's a chance to play chess and do robotics. And what's great is when toys like this can make it really approachable, where even a parent who might not have chosen to do this can feel comfortable and play with their kid. That's what we do at bedtime math.
Right, follow the instructions and do it. Maybe you're both learning at the same time, and that's one way to tackle it. That's a great point. All right, thanks to both of you.